the tablecloth. These are two true stories. A young minister had been called to serve at an old church that at one time had been a magnificent edifice in a wealthy part of town. Now the area was in a state of decline, and the church was in bad shape. Nevertheless, the pastor and his wife were thrilled with the church and believed they could restore it to its former magnificence. When the minister took charge of the church early in October 1948, he and his wife immediately went to work painting, repairing, and attempting to restore it. Their goal was to have the old edifice looking at its best for Christmas Eve services. Just 2 days before Christmas, however, a storm swept through the area, dumping more than an inch of rain. The roof of the old church spun a leak just behind the altar. The plaster soaked up the water as if it were a sponge, and then crumbled, leaving a gaping hole in the wall. Dejected, the pastor and his wife looked at the defaced wall. There was obviously no chance to repair the damage before Christmas. Nearly 3 months of hard work had been washed away. Yet the young couple accepted the damage as God's will and set about cleaning up the damp debris. It was an impressed minister and his wife who attended a benefit auction for the church youth group that afternoon. One of the items put up for bid was an old gold and ivory colored lace tablecloth, nearly 15 feet long. Seized with an inspiration, the pastor was the high bidder at $6.50. His idea was to hang the ornate cloth behind the altar to cover the ragged hole in the wall. On the day before Christmas, snowflakes mingled with the howling wind. As the pastor unlocked the church door, he noticed an older woman standing at the nearby bus stop. He knew the bus wouldn't be there for at least half an hour, so he invited her in to keep warm. She wasn't from the neighborhood, she explained. She had been in the area to be interviewed for a job as a governess to the children of a well-known wealthy family. She had been a war refugee. Her English was poor, and she didn't get the job. Head bowed in prayer, she sat in a pew near the back of the church. She paid no attention to the pastor, who was hanging the tablecloth across the unsightly hole. When the woman looked up and saw the cloth, she rushed to the altar. "It's mine," she exclaimed. "It's my banquet cloth." Excitedly, she told the surprised minister its history and even showed him her initials embroidered in one corner. She and her husband had lived in Vienna and had opposed the Nazis before the Second World War. They decided to flee to Switzerland, but her husband said they must go separately. She left first. Later she heard that he had died in a concentration camp. Touched by her story, the minister insisted she take the cloth. She thought about it for a moment, but said no, she didn't need it any longer, and it did look pretty, hanging behind the altar. Then she said goodbye and left. In the candlelight of the Christmas Eve services, the tablecloth looked even more magnificent. The white lace seemed dazzling in the flickering light of the candles, and the golden threads woven through it were like the brilliant rays of a new dawn. As members of the congregation left the church, they complimented the pastor on the services and on how beautiful the church looked. One older gentleman lingered, admiring the tablecloth, and as he was leaving, he said to the minister, "It's strange. Many years ago my wife, God rest her, and I owned such a tablecloth. She used it only on very special occasions, but we lived in Vienna then. The night air was freezing, but the goosebumps on the pastor's skin weren't caused by the weather. As calmly as he could, he told the man about the woman who had been to the church that very afternoon. 'Can it be,' gasped the old man, tears streaming down his cheeks, 'that she is alive? How can I find her?' The pastor remembered the name of the family who had interviewed the woman. With the trembling old man at his side, he telephoned the family and learned her name and address. In the pastor's old car, they drove to her home on the other side of town. Together, they knocked on her apartment door. When she opened it, the pastor witnessed the tearful, joyful, and thrilling reunion of husband and wife. Some people would call it an extremely lucky chance happening, the result of a hole in the church wall, an old tablecloth, a pastor's ingenuity in solving a problem, and so on. But the combination of events was far too complex for it to have been merely coincidence. If one link in the fragile chain of events had been broken, the husband and wife might never have found each other. If the rain hadn't come, if the church roof hadn't leaked, if the pastor had decided not to go to the auction, if the woman hadn't been looking for a job or standing on that corner at just the right time, the list of ifs is virtually endless. It was simply God's will. And, as it has been said many times, He works in mysterious ways. I'd like, if we could, sing one verse of 122 in the red hymnal before the next reading. Sorry, Judy. Number 122. Just the first verse.
Yeah, I'll just play the last refrain.
Okay. The second reading is titled The Christmas Spirit, and I assure you this is an historically true story, and it is historically verifiable. It was only 11 days until Christmas, but goodwill toward men was far from the thoughts of 200,000 Union and Confederate soldiers facing each other across the broad, blood-spattered arena of Fredericksburg, Virginia on December 14, 1862. Goaded by the impatient Northern press, which wanted a military victory in its Christmas stocking, the Worcester General Ambrose E. Burnside, the newly appointed Commander-in-Chief of the Army of the Potomac, had rashly decided to ram his 3 grand divisions through the Confederate defenses at Fredericksburg and then push on to Richmond. The previous day, December 30, he had hurled waves of bluecoats against General Robert E. Lee's 78,000-man army of Northern Virginia, which was firmly entrenched along Marye Heights above the Shell-Wright town. Although Lee's massed firepower, 11 muskets per yard, butchered each Union assault, inflicting more than 12,000 casualties, the Confederate High Command fully expected Burnside to renew the battle. However, as the fog lifted on the 14th, there were no indications of activity on the Union side. Instead, the battlefield presented a ghastly spectacle. Marye Heights was strewn with discolored Union corpses, around which writhing, wounded men inched their way toward the lines in search of water. While viewing this gruesome scene from the upstairs room of his headquarters, Confederate General Joseph Kershaw was interrupted by the entrance of Sergeant Richard Kirkland, a 19-year-old soldier in Kershaw's 2nd South Carolina Brigade. "General," Kirkland said, "I can't stand this." "What's the matter, Sergeant?" asked Kershaw. "All night and all day, I hear those poor Union people calling for water. I can't stand it any longer. I ask permission to go and give them water." General Kershaw shook his head sympathetically. "Sergeant," he said, "you get a bullet through your head the moment you stepped over the stone wall onto the plain." "Yes, sir," answered Kirkland, "I know that. But if you let me, I'm willing to try." The handsome Southern general thought for a moment. He looked his youthful non-commissioned officer squarely in the eye. "Kirkland," he said, "I ought not to allow you to run the risk, but the sentiment which prompts you is so noble that I will not refuse your request. God protect you. You may go." Sergeant Kirkland smiled. "Thank you, sir," he said, and bounded down the stairs, 2 at a time. Then, struck by a thought, he stopped suddenly, turned, and remounted the staircase, concluding from the returning footsteps that the boy had changed his mind. Kershaw was surprised by Kirkland's question. "General, can I show a white handkerchief?" Since such an act was not in accord with the existing rules of war, Kershaw slowly shook his head. "No," he said, "you can't do that." "All right," replied the young sergeant, "I'll take my chances." And off Richard Kirkland went into no man's land on his mission of mercy. Soon he reached the stone wall that hid the sunken road from which his comrades only yesterday had massacred Burnside's legions. Quickly the South Carolinian hurdled the wall and immediately exposed himself to the fire of every Yankee sharpshooter in that sector. Fortunately, the bluecoats held their fire, possibly because they thought the young Confederate was deranged, or maybe had a white flag which they couldn't see. As friend and foe watched expectantly, Kirkland stood erect and walked calmly toward the Union lines until he reached the nearest wounded soldier. Kneeling, he took off his canteen and gently lifted Billy Yank's head to give him a long, deep drink of refreshing cold water. He then placed a knapsack under the head of his enemy, covered him with an overcoat, and moved on to the next prostrate form. By now, Kirkland's intentions were obvious to all onlookers. From every part of the field came renewed, agonized cries. Water! Water! For God's sake, water! Other men, too feeble to raise their voices, endeavored to lift their arms to show that they were still alive and hopeful. Inwardly vowing not to stop until he had attended to every suffering bluecoat, Kirkland worked swiftly and deftly, racing against the lengthening shadows of a short, somber December afternoon. He returned again and again to his lines, where his comrades handed him full canteens of water. His task finally completed, Kirkland wearily clambered over the stone wall for the last time. Troops on both sides who had watched this selfless act paid young Kirkland the supreme tribute, not a standing ovation, but respectful, awed silence. Today in Fredericksburg, a modest lane known as Kirkland Street marks the site where that angel of mercy, known as the Angel of Marye Heights, practiced the true spirit of Christmas. And there is also a large bronze monument, I think some 12 feet high at least, depicting Sergeant Kirkland giving water to wounded Union soldiers. If you go on the internet and type in the Angel of Marye's Heights, the story will come up, and there will be a number of pictures of that monument. Indeed, said the babe of Bethlehem, years after his birth, I was thirsty, and you gave me